Well, hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. Got another crossout video for us today, guys. Now, today's video is going to be on compilers, and more importantly, what I think is the best build to run compilers on in crossout. Now, the reason I wanted to do this video today is because the main battle pass for the compilers and the Comet is running out this week, and this is kind of the point in time now where people are going to be spending any of the bearings that they have on the battle pass on various fused items. Now, I'm not going to say what you should get and what you shouldn't, but my personal recommendation would be to get a second fused compiler like I have here, so that you have obviously two of them fused, so you get your reload rates at the same time. Because if there's alternating where you got one fused and one isn't, it can get quite annoying. So that's what I would do, and then spend any remaining bearings that you may have on widget STs. That's what I'm going to spend them on. Now, the widgets are really quite good in the meta. In wheel mode, they got really good power, so they're good for pushing other dog builds, and in leg mode, they're good for fighting other spiders and meat grinders and such, because they have quite high resistances when they do that. So that's what I would spend my bearings on in this battle pass, and I figured that is going to be quite a lot of people in this week specifically, who are going to get a second fused compiler and want a build to run them on. So that's why I got the build in front of me here. Now, the reason why I think that compilers are better or best on a build like this, we'll start with the cabin. Now, in my opinion, the compilers are definitely best when suited with a whaler cabin. The reason for that is because the recoil of the weapon synergizes incredibly well with the charge mechanic of the whaler. You'll get it in 2 shots pretty much guaranteed, and then you'll get your perk, which is really quite nice. Also, the benefits from a whaler, whereby the projectile speed and the damage complement the compilers really quite nicely. And it's just like the perfect weight, whereby you can put the compilers on a whaler cabin and still have enough of a build to make a pretty decent build. The problem with, say, a Mastodon whaler, for example, in some situations, is because the Mastodons are so heavy that even with mass fusions, your build can be quite squishy. But obviously the compilers are quite a bit lighter than, say, a Mastodon, so you can still get a decent build out of a whaler. Now, since the whaler is the best cabin for it, the best build for it is a whaler wheeled build, or whaler car, in my opinion, as opposed to, say, a whaler hover. There's a few reasons for this, but the main reason is that you are much more durable on a car than you would be on a hover. Now, anyone who's played hovers will know that even the best built hovers in the game, sometimes if you get hit in the wrong place on the side or at the back, it can basically cripple your build, whereby you're flying quite badly and you can't really do much. That almost never happens on a wheeled build. It feels much more safer. Plus, on a wheeled build, you can get a fin wheel perk quite a lot more, so your guns are more protected. And more importantly, on a wheeled build, you can sort of dictate the flow of the match a lot more because you're faster, so you can dip in and out of combat pretty much when you want, as opposed to when you're a hover, people push you and you're not really in control of the fight as much. You're kind of just reactive as opposed to proactive. So that's the reason for that. And yeah, I've got some. Oh, the build itself, sorry, I should say. Now, when I say that this is the best build for the compiler and crossout, I'm not talking about this specific car. I'm talking about the components of the build, whereby a compiler, whaler with what is it, Cyclops, fin whale, etc., stuff like that. That is the best type of build. It doesn't really matter how your whaler car is put together in a sense, but as long as you run a whaler car, that is probably a whaler compiler car, then that is probably going to be the best compiler build in Crossout. So we're going to jump into PvP matches now, show off the usual 5 or 6 games just to see how well the build does. It should do fantastic because, like I said, this has pretty much got everything going for it with regards to the guns, and the guns themselves are very good. So yeah, we'll jump in now, guys, and hope you enjoy. Okay, first game. Let's try not to mess up. Now this should do well. There's 2 reasons that I wanted to make this video, to be honest. Firstly is because I wanted to use my second fuse compiler that I got off the battle pass. And the other reason is I wanted to use a wheeler carbine. I just had a feeling for it, you know. Because they are really fun and they're really good. And the buffs that you get from them are pretty solid. Oh, hello, that's a bricky of bricks. That's a very old Reaper build, I believe. Well, yeah, I think so. No, I'm into him. Yeah, this is solid as well. Oh. Right, okay, second game. Oh, in case I didn't say in the intro, I would definitely recommend in this battle pass before, because it's running out, I think. Is it next week or Wednesday? It's running out soon, either way. So the best things to buy in the battle pass if you've still got your barons and haven't spent them yet would be, from in my opinion, a compiler, a second fused compiler, and some widget STs basically. That's what I'm going to spend mine on. Who is this guy? Because he's a mad lad. Right, let's go. I'm going to shoot like a little bit low on him, just because that's where his frames are and I want to damage those frames. And he might have like a fin well for Rhino, so I don't want to shoot his cannons. Yeah, mate, we're still coming for you. Oh, he's flipped, I think. Oh, no, he's not. Okay, an incinerator wants me. Nice shot. What the hell? A retro dog. Where's my team at? Hello, mate. There's two incinerate others. What is going on? Who just killed themselves by the look of it. They basically just murdered themselves. Okay. Wait, is that a friendly Mandrake or... What the hell? Okay, oh yeah, he's done. Yeah, the Whaler is just perfect for compilers. So yes, in my opinion, my ever so humble opinion, the best carbine by far for compilers is the Whaler. For several reasons. The biggest reason is that the recoil of a compiler really helps with the Whaler perk. It helps with charging nice and quick, you know. Also, the benefits from the Whaler are really good for compilers with the projectile speed and stuff like that, and the damage, of course. That's really helpful. And the compiler isn't too heavy, so you can still run it on a Whaler carbine. Hello, mate. You can run it on a Whaler carbine and still have a decent build, you know. And it's really easy. I love how easy it is. The same center mass, basically. Oh, beast strip. I'd feel bad about 2v1 and him, but he's a comet. And I don't deserve mercy. The weapons, not the player. Follow me, Reaper. Mate, you don't actually want to follow me, that's a bad idea. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we deal with one guy and then straight after another guy comes, just gets ganged up on again. Fine. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Easy on, mate, easy on. Bloody bot. How did that gun survive, really? Why are you coming for me as well? There's two other players. Okay, bot racism. They're just really good cannons, I gotta give them. Yeah, as I was saying, I really think that the best cabin for a compiler is just definitely a whaler, for those reasons I said. But I think the best build for a compiler is also just a wheeled build as opposed to, say, a whaler hover. Like, the reason why I prefer wheel builds is, firstly, you can, if you've got a gun that's 360, I think it's better to make the most of the 360. But also, the spread on the compilers isn't so bad on a wheeled build, because you can just close the range a lot easier than you can on like a hover. And as opposed to a hover, when you get shot at, oh Jesus, this is bad. When you get shot at in a wheeled build, there's very little chance of you getting completely crippled in like 1 or 2 shots. Whereas on a hover, if you take a bad side shot, you're basically screwed sometimes, you know? Even on the best hover builds. They're not meant to take damage, so there's that. What else is there? That guy just got pummeled. Saying in the last game, the best cabin for a compiler, in my opinion, is definitely the whaler for those reasons. But the best build for that whaler compiler is wheeled build as opposed to hovers for me. I guess the only reason I can see people being on a hover, Jesus, someone just got lanced. The only reason I can see someone being on a hover compiler instead of a wheeled compiler is either because of map or because they are just more suited to a hover build than they are on wheeled builds, basically. But the wheel build like this has several advantages over a hover. The first one is that you're just generally more durable. You know, you can tank a lot more shots in something like this than you can on a hover. Because anyone who's played hovers will know, like, a bad side shot or a bad rear shot sometimes, and you're basically crippled in one hit. Whereas that almost never happens on a wheel build. Hello, mate. So yeah, I prefer wheel build personally. Yes, I did not run away, mate. I'm still here. I just damage, let's go. I am surprised you still caught that gun. There we go, nice. Good job, mate. Now this poor guy's gonna get 5v1. Okay, we'll do a few more games then, just because I think we're on game 4 or 5 now. But yeah, bottom line, if you're looking for the best ranged cannon to use on, say, a wheeled build, then I think the compilers are the best guns in the game, as opposed to, say, a Mammoth, for example. Mammoth's hitbox is obviously much bigger, and they don't really reward you a whole lot over, say, a compiler. Bloody hell. Whereas if you're looking for, say, a ranged cannon on, like, a hover, then you're better off just running Typhoon. Typhoons are basically king on anything that's facing forward, you know. The big advantage that the compiler has is that they can shoot 360. So you might as well just use them. Hello, Indus. Okay, his front gun is smoking. So let's try and hit that. Good shot. Right, he's stripped. There's a bunch of bots left alive, though, which is nice. I'm just gonna try and keep my swarm alive. Oh, no, no, no. I'm gonna push this scope. He needs to die. I'm just gonna get picked apart by a bunch of bloody bots now, and I feel it. Oh, a scorpion spider, sorry. Bot, please, no, don't do this. Don't do me like this. Okay, there goes a gun. Okay. Give me the guns, give me the guns. Yeah, compilers do quite a bit of damage, so try and shoot guns if you can on them. Bot, don't screw me. Leave me alone. Oof. PvP is stressful. Oh, stop ramming into me. Right, the scope still had a gun, didn't he? Oh, bots. Shit. The bots are fine. The bots are like full HP. No. 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 I only got 6 shots. I'm gonna get killed by bot. I'm gonna kill my bot. Oh, this is tough. Well, what I would give for a cloak right about now. On the rocky road to Dublin. Lewis gets hunted by bots. I like how it's also Mastodon bots as well. It's like poetic justice almost. No, you suck! Ah well. Alright, we'll call this last game in, because I think we've got plenty of footage. But yeah, as you can see, the build is just really, really solid on a wheeler car. You know, you don't have to worry as much as you do on a hover. You know, there's no, even if a dog jumps up on you with Griffin and whatnot, you're still going 80, 90 kilometers an hour, so there's a much better chance of you getting away from him or you bumping off of him than it is on a hover. That's why I prefer it. And you can sort of like control the engagement a lot easier, I think. Oh my god, that's a dog. I was talking about not getting killed by dogs, not gonna get killed by a dog. Okay, and that is it for the Whaler compiler card, guys. As you can see from the games, it's a very strong build, and it doesn't really have any glaring weaknesses like you'd see on a Havre. It's just really solid all round. I will get round to at some point making sort of an adaptation to builds like this, because I saw a compiler car whereby basically instead of 8x4s, you'd have 2x8s here, and then you'd have like a row of buggy wheels. This is on a build that I was at, it's not mine, but so you have 2x8s here, and then you'd use the gap by here for an extra buggy wheels, and then you'd have the same layer here as well. So you have like 2 layers of wheels essentially. And on a build like this, for example, it would be quite beneficial because you've got 4,800 cabin, which is a bit too much to be honest. You're going to spare the mass, obviously, by the look of this. So I'm going to try that out at some point, but I didn't have time at the moment. But like I said, if you are looking for something to run compilers on, then a Whaler wheeled build is by far the best one in the game, in my opinion. So hope you all enjoyed the video, guys, and I will catch you tomorrow.